Hi everyone, Joe Gentili from Left Tail Risk Advisors. In this video, I want to go through what I think is one of the best use cases for life insurance, and that's how life insurance intersects with special needs planning or planning, financial planning and legal planning, where parents, or sometimes grandparents or others, are looking to provide care for a child with special needs that may not be able to financially provide for themselves as an adult. And special needs planning can be complex because it intersects with government benefits and other legal issues that require some careful planning to make sure that things don't get tripped up on. So it's not as simple when dealing with a special needs situation to just leave assets to a child or give them cash directly in their name or as an adult. And the reason for that is because a lot of the government benefits programs that they rely on, like Medicaid being the most important one, I think, are means tested. So the child or the special needs adult is not able to hold assets in their own name. So that creates the issue of how do you provide a standard of living for them beyond just what the government benefits would provide without disqualifying them from the government benefits. And the answer to that is to plan through what's called special needs trust. Special needs trust is a document that is drafted by an attorney, and it basically creates this entity for which you fund, and then those funds are used to provide for the child's standard of living as an adult. And it could provide for a wide range of things from housing to food to entertainment to transportation. Basically, most things except giving the child cash directly. So very important structure to have and plan out with an attorney. So where life insurance comes into the picture is that special needs trust has to be funded in some way. It needs to, in order for it to accomplish these goals of enhancing the child's standard of living, there needs to be money in that trust in order to do so. Life insurance is one of the most common ways that people choose to fund that trust. And they do that for a couple of reasons. So number one, this is an area of um, financial planning where people tend to want to be very conservative with ensuring that they're going to hit the outcome that they're looking for. That if they have a dollar amount that they want to make sure is there, they want as much certainty as possible that they're going to hit it. And life insurance can accomplish that through the guarantees that it has in a way that investments or other forms of funding may not be able to give the same degree of certainty. So that's one of the reasons why life insurance is very attractive in this space. Another reason is the timing. Parents typically plan on supplementing care for their child, even as an adult, throughout their life. And they're going to want to do that for as long as possible in their life. But the point in time where they feel like they're really going to need the most money in place is upon their death. When they're no longer around to care for the child, make decisions for the child, there's going to need a pool of money there to basically take care of that, and to for somebody else who's going to be stepping into that role to make the role for them as easy as possible and to give them as many tools as possible to provide this child with the, or at this point, hopefully an adult, with the care that they need. So the timing of the payout is ideal with life insurance as well. So if you're going to decide that the certainty that life insurance provides of providing that funding exactly when it's needed is attractive as at least part of the solution, then the next step in the process is to decide what type of life insurance, because there's a bunch of different structures with life insurance. So the first fork in that road in that decision is this a temporary need or is this a permanent need? For most people, this is going to be a permanent need. They are going to need funding for the special needs trust when they die, regardless of when they die. So this is not a need that evaporates upon retirement or some other short to medium term time horizon. So now that you know that you have a permanent need, you're then looking at the structures of what type of life insurance, what type of permanent life insurance do you want? And in past videos, I've described permanent life insurance as having different chassis that exist on a risk spectrum, with whole life, guaranteed universal life being at the more conservative end of the spectrum, and other types of products like variable universal life and index universal life being on the more risky side of the spectrum. In my opinion, for most people, they're going to want to select product structures from the more conservative side of the risk spectrum for this. Because as I said before, this is one of those financial outcomes where you want to make as certain as possible that you're gonna hit your goals. Because if you miss these goals, if the life insurance policy lapses later in life and the money is not there, or your investments don't perform the way you forecasted they perform, this is a big problem, especially if the parents are already retired and they're not able to supplement with other income to solve for this issue. So I think guarantees in this situation are very important. Guarantees are not inexpensive in life insurance, so some people may want to blend term life insurance in for a period of time in order to help, I guess, cover the funding need for a period and buy time to afford more permanent coverage. So term life insurance can still play a role here. The other point of decision making with structure on life insurance is whether you want to have an individual life insurance policy on behalf of one parent or two policies on behalf of both parents, or you want to have what's known as a survivorship policy or a second to die policy. And these are very popular in this space. And what a survivorship or second to die policy is as it says in the name, is it's a life insurance policy taken out on two people, typically the parents, and the life insurance policy pays out upon the second death when both parents have passed. And the reason people choose this structure is because you can get the same amount of death benefit for a lower premium. And if you think about it, it makes logical sense, right? If the life insurance company is able to hold on to your premium for a longer time and invest it for a longer time, as would happen if they're waiting for two deaths instead of one, then they're able to basically charge a lower premium to get to the same dollar amount. So it makes sense. There's drawbacks to that structure as well. Things can get a little complicated with these policies in the event of a divorce, for instance, and that has to be planned for ahead of time. Some people would prefer to have two liquidity events with the parents as opposed to one. So there's trade-offs like with everything else. But overall, because of the guarantees that life insurance can put in place for this particular area of planning, where there really is not much margin for error, it's very, very important that the goals here are met in terms of having the money in place that you want to have in place at the point of your death, because of the guarantees it puts in place, and because of the tax advantaged nature of life insurance and the fact that it's going to deliver that benefit really at the exact time when it's most needed. Life insurance is in my opinion, an indispensable tool in the special needs planning world. So if you have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. This is a topic I'm very passionate about and love to discuss. And as always, if you are enjoying these videos and you're finding them useful, I encourage you to subscribe for future videos. Thanks. Bye.